Look at her arm. Caitlin Clark has just 8 non-technical free throws in her last 12 quarters of play. They seemingly hate her.
Fresh footage from the Fever's victory over the Chicago Sky is going viral, and it isn't focused on a crossover, a deep three, or a perfectly timed highlight assist. Instead, it's drawing attention to Caitlin Clark's forearm, which appears to be covered in fingernail marks, the kind of scratches that can happen when someone is grabbing, holding, and desperately trying to stay with her because they simply can't match her speed any other way.
Dijonai Carrington had circled on her calendar and wanted the world to see happen tonight. And how did it turn out? Caitlin Clark had 37 points, 10 assists, 8 threes, and we got this lovely reaction. But I want to point out something that happened in the game. Some of the Chicago Sky, including Dijonai Carrington, to me, were looking for a fight this game. And Caitlin, instead of talking about it in the media, just did it with her basketball skills, and this is one of the plays that happened.
Indiana can regain the lead. Clark, another step back three. Yes. And a little bit of passion afterwards.
You love it.
So Dijonai purposely runs into Clark, and then Clark just waves her off. You can tell that Clark was just over that storyline and with that rivalry.
And here's the part that should make everyone genuinely uncomfortable when they watch the footage back. Almost none of it was called. Possession after possession, defenders are all over Clark, grabbing at her jersey, reaching for her arms, and leaving visible marks while the whistle remains completely silent. This isn't just one isolated moment from a single physical possession. It's a pattern that appears to have been developing for weeks, happening repeatedly, and right in front of everyone. And the tweet that sparked this entire conversation puts the situation in the harshest terms possible.
Took the ref 30 business days to call this foul on Caitlin Clark. But of course they want to demonize Clark and be like, she was overreacting. She's the most fouled player in the league. What are we doing? Why was the whistle not blown right here? Grabbing her, blow the fucking whistle, man. And then she had to do all this again to finally put her hand up. Like, what are we doing, man? Enrique's ugly ass falling down all over the place, foul call. You look at Asia Wilson, foul call, but it takes the ref looking direct. Look, why is her hand not up? Takes the ref 30 business days to call this. But let's demonize Clark. No, all these players fear Caitlin Clark. They fear for their lives when this woman is on the court and they have to hack her, tackle her. I done see some tackle Clark in this game and everything because she's the 11th best guard and we're going to guard her this way though. Like, you guys are fucking ridiculous, man. It's like the refs just want Clark to get beat up and hacked. These people just want her to just play through it. And it's like, it's not part of the game to get fouled and have to play through it.
Caitlin Clark has recorded just 8 non-technical free throws across her last 12 quarters of action. 8 free throws over 12 complete quarters of basketball. That's not a typo, and it's not something that can simply be brushed off as a tiny sample size. That's almost 3 full games of basketball where Clark, one of the league's most heavily defended guards, has barely been getting opportunities at the free throw line at all.
To show you 10 missed calls last game, that Caitlin Clark got fouled and the ref never called it. There's a moving screen. She's moving all over the place. Hits her with the shoulder like always. Look at this. Fouls her, holding her, and fouls the crap out of her. No foul. Look at this. She got fouled the whole game. They didn't call this a foul. Look at this one. Like, her body's all over her. How is that not a foul? Look at this one. Cardosa swipes her once, twice, just tries to grab her. Can you imagine being fouled the entire game? Every time you hit half court, every time you dribble, every time you drive. Look at this. Sheldon clearly has her hand on Caitlin Clark's shoulder when she's shooting it. They even showed a replay. It's exactly where I thought it was. Watch this. Her arm is on Caitlin Clark's shoulder the whole.
Think about what that number really means for a moment, because it's easy to scroll past a statistic like that without fully taking it in. Free throws exist in basketball because the rules recognize that certain levels of contact cross the line into illegal play. When a player who appears to absorb as much contact as Clark is only reaching the line a few times across 12 straight quarters, that doesn't necessarily mean she's suddenly playing cleaner or encountering less contact than before. It raises questions about whether the whistle has gone quieter around her at the same time the physical pressure she's facing appears to have increased. It can create the impression that the more aggressively defenses challenge her, the fewer calls she receives in return, which seems very different from how consistent officiating is supposed to work in competitive basketball.
WNBA player to be suspended after she intentionally pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye. You can see here she misses the ball with an open palm and then hones it into this little sharp pointy hand and jabs it right into her eyeball. One more time, right in the eye. And believe it or not, she didn't even get a foul for this. It was so intense as well that as the game progressed, you could tell she was getting a black eye just from the hit. There is no doubt in my mind that what this WNBA player did was 100% intentional, and honestly, I think it should have a huge suspension.
Because let's be honest about what appears to be happening on the floor week after week. When defenders can't get in front of her, can't stay with her off the dribble, and struggle to contest her without creating obvious contact, they may start relying on more subtle forms of physical defense. Instead of a clear foul that officials immediately notice, there can be smaller grabs or scratches that are easy to miss in real time, but become much more noticeable when the replay is slowed down. A quick grab here, a mark there, moments that might not draw a whistle during the game, but can look far more concerning when examined afterward. At that point, it raises questions about whether the physical pressure is simply part of aggressive defense, or whether it's being used to frustrate Clark, disrupt her rhythm, and wear her down over the course of a game.
Wasn't called a foul. This wasn't called a flagrant foul. There was no whistle blown on this play. This play never went under review. This play has absolutely nothing to do with basketball. As you can see, the ball is all the way over there. This is just someone getting mauled. The WNBA is stupid and is not a serious organization.
And this is exactly why the free throw statistic matters, because it's not simply a number being shared online to create drama or generate engagement. When you look at the hard fouls, off-ball contact, grabbing, and physical plays that can happen away from the ball, it raises serious questions about how much contact Clark is absorbing compared with the protection she receives. She takes repeated contact, gets back up, runs down the court, and continues playing the very next possession as if nothing happened. That resilience can easily get overlooked amid all the controversy, because many players dealing with that level of physical defense might become more cautious, avoid contact, or hesitate to attack the basket. Clark hasn't appeared to back away from it. If anything, she continues attacking aggressively, returning to the same areas of the floor where defenders are applying the most pressure.
These are plays we've seen from Dijonai.
These are the plays. Look. Yanking her hair down. Oh, that's a basketball play, y'all. And tell me if you notice a common denominator. Look. Basketball play, look. Basketball play. I didn't know you can rip somebody's hair out. That's a basketball. Look. Ankle injury. That's a basketball play, y'all. Look, poke right in the eye. It's not this many basketball plays in the world. There's not this many coincidences in the world. She went up like this and came down like this and poked an eye. Knocked her all upside her head. Now she got CT. Like, this is what you call a track record. Look. Not even going for the ball. Like, come on.
But that's what Dijonai Carrington does.
And we know. And that's been part of the problem. Because we've been telling y'all, this is what she does.
This isn't the first time DJ Carrington's name has been brought into this same conversation either. Fans have previously questioned her physical play against Clark, dating back to a playoff series when a similar swipe near the face went viral for many of the same reasons this latest footage is gaining attention. The concern keeps resurfacing, while moments that aren't called during live action often become major talking points only after the footage is slowed down and replayed for everyone to see. That growing gap between what happens in real time and what viewers notice on replay has become part of the larger discussion, especially when these moments occur repeatedly during nationally televised games with millions watching. And that brings us to the second half of this story, because while all of this has been unfolding, while Clark's arm is showing visible marks and the whistle remains quiet, Caitlin Clark has quietly been putting together another impressive stretch on the court. Here's the tweet that's going viral alongside the footage of her arm. Once you look at the numbers, it's easy to understand why the contrast feels so striking when you place the two stories side by side. Most 30%,
30-point, 10-assist games in WNBA history. Caitlin Clark, 5. The rest of the WNBA history combined, 4.
Sit with that statistic for a moment, because the gap is genuinely enormous, and it's not a number that requires much interpretation. Every 30-point, 10-assist game recorded by every other player across WNBA history combined adds up to just 4 total games. Caitlin Clark alone has 5. She's produced that total in a fraction of the time it has taken some other players to build careers spanning a decade or more, already surpassing what the rest of the league's history has managed to put together. That's not simply a hot streak lasting a few good weeks. It's not a fortunate stretch against weak competition or a schedule that happened to favor her. It's a level of offensive production and playmaking that is extraordinarily rare at the point guard position, and she's been doing it while absorbing physical contact that could make many players hesitate before attacking the paint.
Now has more 30-point, 10-assist games in her career, with 5, than the rest of the WNBA has combined in league history. Let that sink in. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee while that sinks in. Yeah, yeah, by herself, she's got more 30-point, 10-assist games by herself than the entire league combined. Entire league history.
It also raises a legitimate question about consistency across the rest of the league. Plenty of WNBA guards play through contact every night, and there are situations where they appear to receive calls that Clark doesn't get under similar circumstances. That's not a criticism of those players, because most are simply competing with the same physical style the league has always allowed. The bigger question is for the officials, because if the standard for what qualifies as a foul appears to change depending on which player receives the contact, then it becomes more than an ordinary officiating inconsistency. It becomes a question of fairness. And fairness concerns in professional sports usually become harder to ignore the longer they remain unresolved.
So, look at this. This is where you're like, this is loser shit. Oh, I'm going to pretend to flop. Dijonai just shoved Caitlin. She literally just walked into Caitlin and shoved her. Caitlin dribbled the ball and she just shoved her. And she just goes that. Caitlin didn't even throw her head back. And then waits for Caitlin, like, starts shit talking, throws her head back. Caitlin doesn't see her, and then goes and does it again. Like, that is the most loser shit ever. That is the most loser shit ever. Like, and the worst part is that Dijonai checked into the game while Caitlin Clark was, while Caitlin was on the bench, and Dijonai started off really well. Really well, Dijonai started. As soon as Caitlin Clark, as soon as Caitlin Clark checks in the game, Dijonai suddenly is like, I don't care about basketball anymore. I don't care about basketball. The only thing that I care about is, can I go?
And that's really what makes this entire storyline so difficult to ignore once you actually take a moment to think about it. This isn't a player who's struggling under the physicality or quietly breaking down because of the pressure. This is a player dealing with grabbing, contact, and physical defense while receiving relatively few whistles in return. And instead of backing away from that pressure, she's putting together one of the most remarkable stretches of 30-point, 10-assist games this league has ever seen. Every time a defender chooses to reach for her instead of staying in front of her and defending with their feet, she seems to answer by producing another huge performance the next time she steps on the floor. If the intention was to frustrate her into a slump or wear her down until her production finally dropped, it simply hasn't happened. The numbers continue to tell the story, and week after week, Clark keeps proving that the physical pressure hasn't slowed her down.
It is no way y'all trying to talk about Caitlin Clark shooting 13 free throws. The same people that call Asia Special Whistle Wilson the GOAT, that shoots 50 million free throws a game. The same people that glaze Angel Reese, the free throw merchant that has to flop to get points because she can't shoot. Free throw merchant, but Clark got 13 free throws in a loss. But also, when Angel Reese gets a double-double and has a good game in a loss, it's glazed. But when Clark has a good game in a loss, they want to shit on it and do the opposite and be the goofies that they are, man. Goofy, man. Clark is the most fouled player in the league. She got the whistle that she deserved today versus the Dallas Wings, man. She should be shooting free throws like that every single game because people just hold on to her and try to foul her all the time because there ain't no...
That contrast really is the entire story here, and it's worth spelling out one more time before wrapping things up. 8 non-technical free throws across 12 quarters while defenders leave marks on her arm and make contact that might draw whistles in other situations around the league. And during that exact same stretch, she's putting together a historic run that the rest of the WNBA hasn't matched across its entire history. Those two facts sitting side by side should be enough to make the league take a serious look at the consistency of its officiating. Caitlin Clark still walks off the floor with the assists, still walks away with the points, and continues adding to a record that the rest of the WNBA has struggled to match, regardless of how many defenders are assigned to stop her. The marks on her arm may show how hard some opponents are trying to slow her down. The record book shows in clear numbers how effective that approach actually is. And right now, the numbers aren't on their side, no matter how much physical pressure Clark faces.